What's going on, Fantasy Chefs? We've got your free NBA DFS lineups for Wednesday, October 17th. Hope that you guys are excited for the start of the NBA season. I know that I surely am, and we have a huge slate to kick things off. So as always, head over to fantasychef.net for our lineups all season long. We're doing free lineups this week where I'll actually go through and pick an entire lineup that fits under the cap. I do that all year long at fantasychef.net. Do it for NBA, NFL, and UFC. And we'll be giving away free lineups for the opening week here until Sunday. But if you want them past Sunday, head over to fantasychef.net and subscribe. It's only $4.99 a month. Still be putting content out for DFS for sure. It'll just be a general overview of the slate. Give you guys some good pointers and value picks, along with some heavier salary guys that I like for that night. Just won't be making a full-blown lineup in those segments. So, all right. Going to get started here. If you did not hear, DraftKings is deploying a late game swap, so be aware of that this year. And FanDuel is deploying a last score out, which means your lowest score of the night gets dropped in FanDuel. So be aware of that when creating your lineups. In this show, we are just going over DraftKings. There will be a FanDuel lineup, so check the site for that. But as far as video content is concerned, just doing DraftKings for now. And then, as always, check out this site for any late substitutions for injuries. We'd like to keep the lineups up to date. So head over to fantasychef.net for everything. All right, let's get started. First off, going with point guard position and going with a value play here. Jeremy Lin takes on the New York Knicks, heading back to New York. Linsanity returns. Look, Jeremy Lin, I think a lot of people are forgetting about him because of his season-ending injury early last season. He is recovered. He is or has been playing in preseason. He hasn't been getting a ton of minutes in preseason, but I think he's getting enough. He is playing right now behind rookie Trae Young. Might even possibly get some shooting guard minutes. I think Jeremy Lin is one of those guys that can microwave very quick and get you some solid numbers even in some small minutes. So for $4,000, I think he's a great play to offload some salary. All right, number 2, we've got our boy, the fun guy, Kawhi Leonard, for your Toronto Raptors. Seems crazy now that Toronto has Leonard, but he draws the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. You got to think that the Toronto fans are going to be absolutely psyched for this game. Opening the season at home, they have their franchise centerpiece. I think Kawhi Leonard wants to prove to the NBA that he is the real deal. Obviously, we know he's the real deal. I guess maybe prove that he is MVP caliber. So Kawhi Leonard, like I said, takes on Cleveland. Cleveland does not have anybody that's going to be able to guard him, anybody defensively. The closest thing would be Tristan Thompson, but he obviously plays center. So, Kevin Love, if he plays down low, and then he draws Osman potentially in the guard spot. Rodney Hood. None of these guys are going to be able to hang with Leonard. This is a statement game, I think, for Leonard. I think Leonard finishes as a top 3 play in this slate. All right, speaking of Mr. Osman, we're actually going to go with him. Another salary dump here. This guy is going to be the point scorer for Cleveland. J.R. Smith looks like he's going to be out in this game, and Cleveland really just has nobody else in the backcourt. So rolling with Osman here, I think he could possibly get upwards to 20 points and a couple threes as well. Mr. Olynyk, Kelly Olynyk is our next pick. Olynyk draws the start with James Johnson out. So look for Olynyk to get heavy minutes here as there's really a bare cupboard for Miami in their front court. Olynyk draws Orlando, who is pretty bad defensively in the front court. Vucevic and Aaron Gordon aren't really guys you think about when you talk about hardcore defensive front court guys. So I think Olynyk is a good pick here. I think a lot of people, a lot of casual DFS players are going to forget about Olynyk. They're going to be looking for the more notable names. I think Olynyk is a great play here. I think he's buried in a slate where, like I said, a lot of people are going to forget about him. And going with actually his teammate next up, Hassan Whiteside. Same thing applies to Whiteside. I don't think that Orlando can match up with Whiteside. Whiteside is a tricky guy in season-long leagues. Not sure if he's going to sustain the minutes all year long, but early on this season, he should be getting the minutes. So for this night, I believe that Whiteside is a solid pick. Next up is Jimmy Butler. I know there is some drama surrounding Butler. It does seem like he is going to suit up and play for Minnesota opening night. Super weird. Super weird story here. If you don't know, Jimmy Butler requested a trade. Minnesota was close to trading him to Miami. Things fell through. Season, started to get close, and they invited Jimmy Butler to practice this past week. Jimmy Butler gets into practice, and he starts causing all sorts of chaos, calling people out, including the coach, including the GM during practice. Apparently, he took the third string team and beat the starters in a in-house scrimmage. So I don't know. It's crazy drama over in Minnesota, but I think Jimmy Butler for 6,700 is a steal here. I think he's one of the premier players in the NBA. I think he wants to prove in this game that I think he just wants to prove his worth. And I think he plays ball hog in this game. I think it's messy, but I think Butler does get his points. Another guy that I think a lot of people are going to be overlooking in this slate is going to be Tyreke Evans. He pulls the Memphis Grizzlies as an opponent this matchup. And look, Tyreke Evans is one of the guys that does everything. He's going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you assists. He's going to get you some points. He also hits some threes. I think all of that combined, including the matchup against Memphis at home, leads Evans to be a lesser-owned player, but a higher point total guy overall. And then we're going to round this out with another player that should be getting quite a few looks, especially because of his matchup. Devin Booker gets the Phoenix Suns. He gets the Dallas Mavericks. He plays for the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker, dream matchup here against Dallas. I think this guy is the breakout candidate for the NBA this season. He should get some run at point guard. It doesn't seem like he's going to be starting at point guard, but eventually as the season wears on, I think he'll get more minutes there. Possibly even to start the season, he might get a few minutes as the rotation changes at point guard. So look for assists from Booker. Obviously, the points and the threes are elite. I just think that this guy is one of the up-and-coming players in the league that is eventually going to be, top 5-6 player. Love Booker. He's coming off of, I believe, a wrist injury. I'll check on that real quick. But yeah, lost audio. Sorry about that, guys. All signs point to Booker getting his full workload here in this matchup. So, all right, guys, that is it. We have 0 remaining salary. You always got to love that. Leaving nothing on the board. Hopefully, everybody at least can take a player or two out of this lineup. If not, use the whole thing. Go for it. Hope you guys win. Hope you guys become those millionaires that we hear about on DFS. Keep it locked in here to fantasychef.net all season long, doing these breakdowns for the rest of the week, and I'll be doing the breakdowns over on fantasychef.net for the rest of the year. And like I said, we'll also be doing a general overview of the NBA slates throughout the year. If you're into the NFL, do the same type of shows for the NFL too. So keep it locked on here, guys, and take care.